Hi, good evening or good day, everyone. I am so excited that I have here Phil Hoare, who is an autoimmune transformation specialist. And he is from Australia, but he lives in Bali, which makes me very jealous because I have heard and seen that it is just a beautiful, beautiful country. So Phil has an amazing story because he is an autoimmune specialist because he himself suffers from autoimmune, which he, I guess we can't say healed, but he's not suffering anymore. But I think it's quite amazing to have someone that has found a protocol that works. He has helped hundreds of his clients around the whole world. So I guess the word has spread out like wildfire, right? That you can effectively help people, which is great. But I think to have someone that has gone through the emotional process, right? We've had autoimmune in my family as well, and we know how stressful and emotionally upsetting that diagnosis can be. So this is a privilege. I love Phil because I love what he says. He says, I want to help people shine. So it's not just get better, it's help people shine. And he is a giving, loving guy. And I am just thrilled. So we're going to get right into it because we hear autoimmune a lot, but I don't think everybody clearly understands. So tell us a little bit, Phil, what is autoimmune disease?
Thanks for letting me come on. And I know I speak super fast, so I'm going to have to learn to slow it down because I am known to be called talky talk. Okay, so I mean, I've gone through this whole journey of my own autoimmune disease. I had psoriasis many years ago, tried all these different lotions, potions, and pills, didn't work. I decided, no, let's go within. So I started working with the body within and detoxing, what have you. And I literally passed stuff that came that color out my body, and my psoriasis disappeared in about 7-8 days. A couple of years later, I ended up getting vitiligo. Now, vitiligo or vitiligo is basically loss of pigmentation on the skin. Like Michael Jackson, he was black going white. I was just white going whiter. That's essentially what it was. And anyone who has this condition, going out in the sun, huge problem because you got the melatonin on your skin and you're basically going to burn very, very quickly. Or melanin, sorry, not melatonin, melanin. So for me, it was a huge emotional challenge because I was involved as I was a financial planner. And for me, going out, seeing clients, look at you on your face, you look a bit different because the society judges us on our cosmetic look. And it's just fact, whatever way we look at it. And so I was on this quest for 15, 16 years, just kept on going. And I found some things that worked, started getting results. And I went out looking for some sick friends. And that's how my whole business started in this journey. So I've walked the walk. I haven't just learned out of a textbook. I've actually been in the trenches. So in terms of getting the emotional side of it, it's tough. When you got an autoimmune condition on the skin, oh man, it's just really hard. I wouldn't want to go out. I was too scared to go to the beach because people look at me because I've got this patches in my body. But don't worry, they're actually reversing. Most of them are nearly gone and gone totally against the whole grain of things. And this is why I love what we do here because it's new, it's different, it's exciting, but it's flipping the switch on everything. And this is why I love what you guys do here at LifeVantage. It's kind of cool. But to answer your question on where does autoimmune disease start from, that's a good question. And I will go reverse a bit further, go back to about the 1940s when they were introducing DDT into the environment. Mm-hmm. And DDT is very, very toxic and you can do all the research there. They started seeing immune issues started coming up from there and slowly started getting worse and worse and worse. I've read some books of a couple of people, and they actually had grandma or great grandma in the doctor's room, grandma, mom, and daughter, and the baby, and you can see the immune system starting getting less and less and less, like a photocopy. So if you take a photocopy of a document and you photocopy it again and again and again, it starts deteriorating. So autoimmune issues are here to stay. We need to find ways to manage them. And I think that's what it comes down to. And if we can strengthen our immune system, we're winning already. So that's really where I see where autoimmune issues start. And they say to you, your body's attacking itself. Your body is not stupid. It's a smart animal, just like dogs, because dogs are the same as us. They're mammals, just like you and me, exactly the same. That's what you do. So when we look at it, if we got an autoimmune condition, the animals can get the same thing. That's chickens, pigs, ducks, goats, dolphins, you name it. They're all going to get these same conditions happening. So if we deal with strength the immune system, then we're winning. And this is what you can do, exactly what you guys do. So it's kind of cool. I mean, there's so much I can dive down. I can be hours talking about it. But immune issues, your body's not attacking itself, it's protecting itself. It's a different angle. So yeah.
So that is so interesting because I have heard that so many times. It's your immune system attacking itself. In fact, that's how I explain it. And so now you're telling me it's the immune system trying to protect itself. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Because the other thing, and I think we're going to cover this a little later, but you hear this a lot from people that have autoimmune. They say, I take immune suppressing pharmaceuticals. And to me, because what's the logic? Okay, if your immune system is like up here, we want to calm it down, right, with the pharmaceuticals. But then people are prey to, when your immune system is depressed, you're prey to anything, right? So it's kind of a little bit like counterintuitive. It sounds logical, but if you think about it, then it makes no sense. So can you talk a little bit more about when you say that the immune system is trying to protect itself versus to attack itself?
Yeah, I wish I had some really cool, funky slides because I could explain it really well, but I'm going to do the best as I can to explain it out there. Because think of your cells. Now, when the body is highly acidic, for this example, your cells will not release any waste coming out those cells because technically waste is as acidic, and the liquid around your cells, which is your interstitial fluid, which is your your intercellular fluid, is your saliva, your tears, all the liquid around those cells. Now, if that liquid is dirty and acidic, your cells aren't going to release any toxins or waste because the body goes, if you're putting acid into acid, you're going to go into something called metabolic acidosis and you're going to die. Simple. So the cells go like this. They just lock up, dunk, and that's it because they don't want to release this waste. But now the immune system comes along and says, hold on, let's start seeing these viruses, bacteria, and fungus and all these weird things in these cells. It wants to come clean it up. So now all the little defense system comes running along and they want to clean up these cells because that's their job. But now they get claimed they're attacking the cells. So then what they do, most people go and say, hold on, let's put you on some autoimmune suppressants because we want to make sure those defense systems are switched off. Now you're open to getting more issues down the line. It slowly gets worse. So that's really, your body is very, very smart. It's really trying to protect itself. That's what it is. So clean up the liquid around the body in the cells, and essentially you can actually find ways how to increase and strengthen the immune system. And you can do that through food and lots of other ways as well. Wow,
that is like jaw-dropping. See, I told everybody that you were the guy. So
it's a process called cellular respiration. It's getting your cells to breathe. That's what it is. So when, for example, let's say when your cells, let's say I'm a cell, I'm here, I'm sitting here, I take a look outside and go, oh, the liquid's dirty, I'm not going to release any toxins. And takes a look outside, oh, okay, it's cleaner, and it opens briefly and closes. And those toxins come out into the liquid, and then the body, it gets rid of it. Sometimes that's called like a detoxing reaction or cleansing reaction, because the cells are doing its job. It's opening up and it's releasing toxins and it closes. The body cleans it out, does its thing, and then the cell sits around, looks around and goes, oh, takes a look, oh, it's still dirty. Oh, hang on, it's clean. Okay, we can open again. So it's breathing, cellular respiration. And that's the detoxing effect that people have. So yeah.
That is a great explanation, Phil. Thanks for that. So I'm sure that there's some early signs of autoimmune. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I love this question. We can say people who get allergies or people who get the flu, those are your body's fluting, right? You know, the flu, your body's fluting. Like there's things you have on top of a fireplace in the chimney, it's a flute. It's getting rid of something. But then when we get to, let's say, the flu or the common cold, we take medications, which are needed at the time. So pharmaceuticals are great. So let's not knock them on their head because they're there for a reason. But they suppress the body from fluting, getting rid of something. So now when all these things get stuck in it, the next minute you might now get the runs later on because the body's trying to get rid of something. Then you take something to stop you from the runs. Then your body's trying to go find ways to get rid of it. Then you start vomiting. Then you take some other medication to stop that. And before you know it, now it's coming out your skin and you smell because your body's got this toxins in it. But then we put some creams on and we want to suppress that. So now this body's going, oh my gosh, what's going to do? But now it's got all those toxins in the body. So now we start getting toxic over time, affects the liver, affects all these things. But I go back to one thing. Most people or 99% of them who've got autoimmune conditions is a gut issue. Fact. That's a scientific fact. And this is where I love some of the products that LifeVantage have got. You can actually start getting your microbiome up to speed in your gut. Because if you get that going, then you can get the core right. Think of like, I'd say like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee wasn't a big guy, but he had very, very strong abdominal muscles. That's the core of strength, nothing else. Your body's the same. Your gut is your core of strength, because your gut and your brain are linked together. The massive link. It's the second brain. So deal with the gut as a preventative. Then you won't have this possible issues with autoimmune gut stuff going on.
That is the great information. I've been reading about that a lot. The gut being your second brain. It's super, super interesting. And the gut is important because if you don't have a healthy microbiome, even you could be having a super healthy diet and eat organic and all that, and you won't be absorbing, right, the nutrients that you need, because the digestion and the digestion happens in the stomach, but the absorption happens in the gut. And when that is missing, and I read that a lot because dogs are being diagnosed with a lot of autoimmune, and we're mammals, so I guess it works the same way,
Exactly.
right? So let's talk a little bit about your natural approach. You have a natural approach. You have helped hundreds and hundreds of people get better. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between, and you've mentioned it a little bit, but let's make it clear the difference between a pharmaceutical approach and a natural approach, because like you said, there's a place and time for pharmaceuticals, but if we want to get to the root cause, if we want to get the body to, let's say, rebalance itself, right, come back to balance, a natural approach is going to be getting to the root cause so that everything can start functioning like it should. So if I'm not right about that, so can you talk a little bit about those two different approaches?
Definitely. And I'll say this, I love pharmaceuticals, okay? And I said very carefully, have to work hand in hand, because if you have a motor vehicle accident, and there's a lot of people that I've been listening to and talked to, and some of my clients have been injured. Well, if their bone is sticking out here, trust me, I'm not going to be sprinkling some herbs on it to make it feel better. Mm-hmm. Give me all the morphine I want, okay? So if you look at pharmaceuticals, they deal with the trauma. Doctors deal with the trauma. If you look at, that's what they're there for. I mean, thank goodness we have them, okay? That is so, so important. But then the ongoing maintenance of those health issues, I believe we can follow a natural approach. Because if you take the word disease, if you break it up, it's dis-ease. Your body is not at ease. Something's out of whack. So if there's something expressing like psoriasis or dermatitis or eczema or scleroderma or rheumatoid arthritis, something's out of whack. Let's deal with that first, and then long-term effects, you can possibly reverse those conditions. And I've seen it with my own eyes. People have come with medications, reduce their symptoms of autoimmune disease by using foods and getting the body in an alkaline state and oils and stuff like that. So I use a lot of flax seeds and chia seeds. It's high doses of omega-3. It softens the cell membranes. So your cells can actually open up and start breathing. That's one way of doing it as well. So it's autoimmune disease. It's like, we don't know what it is. Let's stick you in this little corner over here. And of course, you've got no idea what that label is. And boom, you now have rheumatoid arthritis. Oh, you have this, you have that. That's a label. That's why it's so important having doctors that can diagnose what you have, and then you can know how to deal with it. So, so important. So having the two together, I mean, I look at clients' blood work as well, and you can start monitoring bloods before things start happening. So it's really cool. So having the two together, they're like brother and sister. They both work together, not sometimes, always, but they do integrate at times. So that's how I have to look at pharmaceuticals and the natural approach. It has to be worked together. That's my opinion. We need them both. So definitely, they can work together.
And then I'm always looking at prevention, right? In our case, in my family, it was my husband that was diagnosed, and I thought we were doing the right things. We took supplements, we were leading we cook a lot at home, eat lots of organic food. So we don't drink, we don't smoke. So I thought, we're doing reasonably well. And boom, all of a sudden this happened. So in the prevention department, like and I want you to tell everybody that analogy you told me a minute ago about the parachute, because I love it, because a lot of people are on this waiting game, like, well, I'm fine now. So I'm always like, well, it's not I'm fine now. It's like, you want to be well and stay well. Don't wait for that, hiccup. Like, what can we do? I want you to explain a little bit of the prevention part, because all of this is preventable, right?
Yeah, definitely. It always goes back to grandma says, have your fruit, have your veggies, have your 3 liters of water or a gallon of water a day. Don't stress so much, sleep, get in the sun, go barefoot, touch the ground, and all the rest of it. Do we do that? No, not enough. That's really where prevention starts. You got to get that core basis right. It's not about taking a whole lot of crazy supplements, taking a whole lot of creams, all those things. Do that base first, and anything you do after that, it's going to work a lot better. So it's different. So prevention, I talk about the parachute. It's like jumping out of a plane without a parachute and thinking, living your life, bouncing around the universe, doing your thing. And just before you hit the ground, it's like, oh, hang on, I've got a health condition, and you want to pull the string. There's nothing there. And you're reaching out for all these other quick fixes. We can't do that. Health takes time. But with health, you have to have disease. It's a combination. I'm never always 100% healthy. Some days I might have a runny nose. Well, that's a sign my body's fluting. Okay, hold on. I need to recheck what I'm doing. So you always have to have that balance. You're never going to have 100% health, but you want to strive to get there. And what I do, I've helped a lot of clients with stuff, like a huge amount of stuff. It's also the emotional aspect of things. It's another thing you look at. It's not just about, let me do this and eating perfectly, I'm sleeping well, but emotionally, I hate my neighbor. I'm angry at this person. I don't like my brother. So it's not about all, what do we call it, rainbows and unicorns. There's a balance, okay? It's a big thing. But when we look at NRF2, I love this product. I actually came across LifeVantage, and I was introduced to LifeVantage when it was introduced in Australia about 9-10 years ago. I did nothing about it because I wasn't looking. But then working with clients with autoimmune conditions, most of them have gut issues. And I knew about LifeVantage and NRF2 because that's the only product they had available in Australia when they launched. So for some weird reason, a mate of mine was using Protandim, and then it just sparked me. It's like, hold on. Went on their website and I found a whole lot of products, and I found ProBio. It's like, okay, now I'm getting excited because all my clients got gut issues. I was researching in whatever country they're in, what's the best option to get, huge amount of time. ProBio, big tick. I was like a kid in a candy store, jumping around, like, got to get in the stuff. And then I thought, hold on, let's look at NRF2. Dive down NRF2, and I found that NRF2, from a science point of view, because I like to, let's say, disprove people before I actually share that, because I want to dive on all angles. So important. I'm never going to take anything face value. And I went down, and you guys have got 7 USA patents on NRF2. And the first 6 are basically talking about that's relieving oxidative stress in all mammals. Now, all mammals are dogs, chickens, goats, ducks, pigs, humans, dolphins, all of them. So it actually works for every human and every mammal on the planet. So that's what I love, because what you do, you work a lot in the arena with animals. So this is why it works so well. So then that was the 6 patents. Now I thought, okay, that's great. Then there's one more patent, deals with something called CRP. Now, CRP is a blood marker, inflammation marker in the body to look for inflammation, pretty simple, which is C-reactive protein. And you guys are saying that actually reduces CRP. I was like, done, we're in, because we all know, or we've all been told, that all disease starts with inflammation.
Yep.
If we can reduce inflammation just by using this little yellow pill as an extra measure, we're winning straight away. When I saw that, that's when Talky Talk arrived, and I've been telling everybody about this whole thing, what it can do for their health. And I've been seeing amazing results with people, like insane results, just by using NRF2. So, and obviously NRF2 reduces oxidative stress. So for the layperson who doesn't know much about NRF2, it's reducing inflammation. It's all linked to pretty much nearly all diseases out there. If we can start there as a preventative, before you start jumping out the plane without the parachute, put the parachute on, and this is what it is, and you can just basically cruise around. So your body can be strong and ready for anything it needs to attack it, essentially, like, free radical damage. And that's where I love NRF2, and it works brilliant. It complements what I'm doing, and whatever anybody else is doing already can complement as well. So that's why I love the NRF2, just on that aspect with inflammation.
They have a new term here. I don't know if they use it in Australia, but they call it inflammaging, and they combine inflammation and aging. And I was reading about it, and I go like, oh my God, like, but like you said, most people don't know what to do about it, right? So we have these amazing tools. So what I would like to do is, well, first of all, get back with whomever sent you this information And we're also going to put Phil's website if you want to go there, because he has a ton of info and he does regular Zooms to talk about this. And then we're going to break for a second and do like a part 2, because I would like for you to explain a little bit more in depth what is the difference with this probiotic from other probiotics that are on the market, because I know you've researched the bejeebies out of it. And then what is NRF2, what is NRF1, maybe in a little bit more detail for people that want to really dig more into understanding the science behind these products, because I know you have some great slides. And so we're going to stop here for a minute so that you can kind of digest this information, or maybe listen to it again, and then we'll have a part 2. So I want to thank everyone. And like I said, get back to the person that sent you this information and get all your questions answered. And let's get started activating everybody for better health and for prevention. Don't jump off of the plane without that parachute, right? So I want to thank you, Phil, for this conversation. Has been great. I've learned a lot. I love the different focus that you give to autoimmune conditions, and also giving people hope, right? That you have helped so many people that are leading super happy lives, and that's what we want for everyone, better health, so we can all go out and keep on doing what we love doing. So thank you.
Thank you.